Okay, hash-based message authentication code. Okay, what the fuck is that? Hey y'all, I'm not sure what episode this is, but welcome back. I am studying and I have a couple of updates. Before we get into it, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications and all that good stuff. I have some footage from like another day of me studying. I don't record like every time I'm studying because it would just be a really long video of me just sitting here. Or like me like sitting in the bed, because I do like to study from bed. So yes, but I did work on some flashcards. I think I was on chapter 1, like the beginning of chapter 1 when I was doing that. So I know I said earlier that I wasn't like rushing the study process, and I didn't want to like rush the taking the certification process, but I lied. I mean, I'm not rushing it, but I am setting a date. I want to take it next month in June. So I'm doing a mix of practice test and reading the chapters. Chapter 1, I got a 80 on the chapter test, which, I mean, the practice test I got a friggin' 40 on, which for me to not really have known anything, I don't think that's horrible. So the chapter 1 practice test, I got 3 wrong out of 15, so that's a 12 out of 15, which is an 80. I also, well, I didn't get it. It was gifted to me. Brain Dumps. It's a website, and they have like practice tests and like a practice test environment for a lot of different certs. So that was gifted to me for a year. So I'm going through that and taking practice questions, as well as reading the book and the practice questions book that I have. Just because I feel like that helps me remember stuff more. For the Brain Dumps one, there's a practice exam, because it's like 900 and something questions available for the CompTIA 501. They don't have one for the 601, but since most of the information is the same, it's still usable. And then they have so much other stuff. So if I really wanted to, like say there was 3 different certs I wanted to get, I have access to it for a year. I can just like study a bunch and take a bunch of certs. I have to do some more research, but I might try to get 1 or 2, you know, I mean, might try to get 1. I'm definitely going to try to get Security Plus, but I might do like 1 or 2 in addition to Security Plus. But I'm going to worry about that later. The reason I'm doing the practice test along with the readings is, I don't know, for some reason that just works better for me. With the Brain Dumps practice exam with the 900 questions, I was kind of, if I knew it, like there's options to make notes and then there's options to like mark for review. So I would, if I had no idea, I would just look it up and look up what the different like answer choices are, read up on what they are, and then pick an answer based on me looking it up, and going from there. And then I noticed that when I'm reading, it's like, oh, I remember this question, da da da. So it kind of like reinforces what I'm learning. So that works for me. But they also have virtual exams where I believe it's 50 questions and it's a timed 90 minutes, which is similar to the actual exam. I think the exam is up to 90 questions, but it is a 90-minute exam. So I think like if you're answering them, it'll keep going until a max of 90 questions have been reached. If not, you need that like, what, 750 to pass, and who knows how many questions that is, because there's so many different like factors that go into it. So yeah, so that is how I'm studying. Oh yeah, also just bear with me. My hair has been out all day. I'm just tired, so I had to put it up. So this is what I'm looking like today. It looks like a chef's hat, but you know. Okay, so yeah, I am going to, and I'm making flashcards too. But this week I want to get through chapters 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's Tuesday. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 this week, and then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 next week. So I want to be done with the book by the 21st. And then I want to focus on practice tests and looking this up and like referencing the book when need be. But I want to focus on practice tests after the end of next week, and then that will hopefully prepare me enough to sit for it. I have not like bought my voucher and like scheduled the test yet. I need to do that. I'll probably do that this weekend, but yeah, also because I'm going out of town on Friday, and I'm going to be out of town for the weekend for my friend's graduation. So tonight is going to be a long night, and tomorrow, which is Wednesday, and Thursday, I have 3 nights to get through like 4.5 chapters, because I'm about, well, really 4 chapters, because I'm basically at the end of chapter 2. So yeah, other than that, I don't really have any updates. So like I'm not really doing any like labs or anything on this like tonight or anything like that. I'm just focused on the book and like Googling and making flashcards and stuff like that. I'm still doing Try Hack Me, so that it can kind of like things can kind of stick. And I'm still listening to the LinkedIn Learning things like while I'm at work, just to kind of, I listen to like the LinkedIn learning path at work, and then like before I go to bed I'll put on like Professor Messer on YouTube and just like have it play, so that hopefully like my subconscious brain is just soaking up some of that information. But yeah, so I'm just really gonna be sitting here studying, and that's really all I have planned. So study with me, I guess. All right, let's do this. Oh, I do feel like I'm actually like retaining and learning information though. I know that digital passwords are used for non-repudiation, and I know that stenography, I think is how it's called, is used to support obfuscation. Don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's how I look. So, you know, so yeah, I do feel like I am retaining information. XSS is cross-site scripting, that has something to do with coding. I don't know exactly, but yes. So, okay, and then so HVAC is hash-based authentication, message authentication, hash-based message authentication code. Yes, okay, cool. And then HOTP is HMAC one-time password, which is a hash-based HMA. Okay, hash-based message authentication code. Okay, what the fuck is that? Ooh, okay. One thing, like if you haven't noticed, I have to read out loud. Like, I mean, if I'm studying with somebody, I don't have to read out loud. But like if I'm by myself I have to read out loud. One, I guess I could hear it, and also like keeps me awake. If I'm reading some shit and it's boring, I'm gonna be asleep in a second if I'm just like reading to myself. So I gotta drink some tea to keep my throat, you know, moist so that it doesn't like dry out from talking so goddamn much. Even though it's cold tea, I'm pretty sure that doesn't really do anything, but whatever. Okay. So basically, if you're using two types of the same factor, like if you have a fingerprint scan and an eye scan, those are both biometric, like something you are factors. So that's single factor authentication. If you're using like something you have, which is a token, and something you know, which is a password, that is dual factor authentication or multi-factor authentication, because multi just means more than one, so it doesn't necessarily mean like 3 or more. That's true, because if my computer didn't say, hey girl, change your password because you can't get in to go to work, would I? And I know better. So one thing I meant to mention was if you are studying for Security Plus or any certification exam, I'm gonna speak specifically to CompTIA because I don't really know how the other ones work. Hopefully they have like an objectives list for the exam, but I meant to look it up earlier because with different versions of tests, things might change as far as like not really necessarily, well, I guess in some cases what's on the exam, but really I guess more so of how much is on the exam. So I googled CompTIA Security Plus SYO 601 because that is the latest version of the certification objectives. Okay, and the CompTIA website has a PDF of CompTIA Security Plus certification exam objectives, exam number SYO 601. And it tells you like about the exam and all that good stuff. It tells you that the number of questions is a maximum of 90. There are multiple choice and performance-based questions. It is a 90-minute test. Passing score is 750 on a scale of 100 to 900. Now, then it goes into the exam objectives as far as the domains and what percentage of it is the exam. So, attacks, threats, and vulnerabilities, architecture and design, implementation, operations, and incident response, and governance, risk, and compliance. Those are the 5 domains. Implementation is 25% of the exam. Architecture and design is 21% of the exam, and attacks, threats, and vulnerabilities is 24% of the exam. So those 3 sections make up the bulk of the exam. And then you have operations and incident response as 16% of the exam, and then governance, risk, and compliance as 14% of the exam. So that can kind of give you a hint of like, okay, you want to make sure you want to know everything, but you really want to make sure you know like that implementation, since that is the most at 25%, attacks, threats, and vulnerabilities, which is the second at 24%, and then that architecture and design. So that is what, like 70% of the exam right there. 25 and 24 is 49, 59, 69, 70. Yeah, that's 70% of the exam right there. So, yeah, but then it goes and it breaks down each domain. Like 1.0, threats, attacks, and vulnerabilities. So you have 1.1, compare and contrast different types of social engineering techniques, and it gives you a list: phishing, smishing, vishing, spam over instant messaging, spear phishing, dumpster diving, shoulder surfing, farming, tailgating, all of that good stuff. And then it goes into 1.2, given a scenario, analyze potential indicators to determine the type of attack. You have malware, ransomware, trojans, worms, potentially unwanted programs, virus, whatever. And then you have password attacks, physical attacks, so on and so forth. And then 1.3, given a scenario, analyze potential indicators associated with application attacks. And then it goes into detail. So if you are studying for a certification, especially a CompTIA certification, find this objectives list and go by it, basically. I'm probably going to print this off, and I am going to use this as a kind of go through and like write out what I know already, and then add to it as I learn new things. So yes, domain 2, how many pages is this? I don't know. And then domain 3, given a scenario, implement secure protocols, your protocols, domain name system, security extensions, SSH, so on and so forth. So if you can go through and do what these objectives are saying, like if you can compare and contrast, what different types of social engineering techniques and things like that, if you can summarize these techniques, if you can explain these techniques, if given a scenario you can implement host or application security solutions, things like that, then you should be good for the exam. So I'm so glad that I finally, like, I remembered to actually like look this up, because this is a great guide on exactly what you need to know. So yes, whatever cert you're studying for, go ahead and find the most go ahead and find the latest version of the exam and search for an objective list for that exam and try your damnedest to know every goddamn thing on it. One more thing about that objectives list. Oh, my favorite fucking part, because I was just talking about, let me scroll on down to the bottom. Okay, I was just talking about all these fucking acronyms. Tell me why at the bottom it has a Security Plus SYO 601 acronym list. A whole fucking acronym list. And it's in alphabetical order. A whole acronym list. A whole acronym list. I think part of it for me, like, I don't think you necessarily need to know what every single one of them means. Like, I don't think you need to know, not what they mean, but like, I don't think you need to know what the acronym stands for every single one. But I do think that if you do, it helps you, because like taking the practice tests and stuff, them acronyms is on there, okay? And it'll be like a question, and then A, B, C, and D are all different acronyms. It's like, if you don't know what the fuck they are, like, yeah. And then I feel like it would help too, because if you know what they stand for, you can kind of relate it back to the question, like, oh, okay, well, this makes sense because it's talking about whatever, you know? So anyway, I was just really excited that there was a whole acronym list at the bottom of this thing. So it's a link. I'm going to attach it in the description box of this video in case you are studying for the Security Plus, the latest Security Plus exam. But yeah, I was just really excited about that. So definitely, that is something I'm definitely gonna have to study as well. Make sure you check out episodes 1 through 3 and turn on post notifications, like, comment, subscribe. If you have any tips or tricks, any like study tricks or things like that, leave a comment below. I love new study things. I find that like school kind of came easy to me. I didn't really have to study much. Or if I did, it was more so like memorization, and it was gone as soon as I took the exam. This is information that I want to stick. So that's why I'm kind of coming at it from different angles, by like reading the books, taking the practice questions, looking up the answers, and then like taking actual like practice tests, like sitting down and taking a practice test. as well as like going through this exam list and like writing out things that I know. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye.